On the Wire, in association with Ladbrokes.
Yes, you're very welcome along. It is On the Wire, and as ever, we're keeping to the good meets this year, and the Irish Oaks is certainly that. We have Savethelastdance was obviously second at Epsom, maybe didn't handle the track. We're going to hear from Aidan O'Brien on that and some of his other runners, and of course, we have been the first 1, 2, and 3 from the Ribblesdale. Taking her on, Aidan having the first 2 of the betting, so who better to hear from than Aidan O'Brien? Well, I'll tell you who's better to hear from. We actually have Mark Boylan, as ever, on the show, and we have Nicola McGeady from our sponsors at Ladbrokes as well. So we have a lot of fun on the way. Let's go to On the Wire. A cracking weekend at the Curragh. We're going to go through the undercard on Saturday and maybe a little bit briefly the Sunday as well. Let's bring in Nicola McGeady, actually, Nicola, because you do have a decent offer for customers as well on what is a cracking weekend of racing.
Yeah, Johnny, listen, we're going to have plenty of competitive specials on the day as well. But for now, bet €5, get €20 for new customers. Bet
€5, get 20.
Yeah.
That is a good offer. And did you absolutely clean up at Ascot? Would that be fair to say?
Yes, it was certainly a good festival as Royal Ascot's go. It's certainly up there as one of the better ones. Huge prices landing every day nearly, so plenty of show.
Yeah, one of the better ones, Mark Boylan. How was it for you?
All good, all good. I'm coming from racing of a different variety. I've been in Killarney for the first 3 days of the week. Gorgeous part of the world, a little bit different in terms of quality to Royal Ascot, but yeah, we never complain about having to go to the Kingdom, Johnny. Never a dull moment down there either. Some good racing, and this weekend the quality is up another notch. Obviously, I've always the Irish Oaks as a race. I know sometimes the odd renewal can let us down a bit, but I was watching back clips this morning. It's 10 years since Chiquita, the mad French mare, and amazing how you can go from a racing post comment that says clipped hedge and fell 2 starts before and then win a classic. So don't think we've any sort of extravagant profiles like that in this year's Oaks, but really looking forward to it.
Yeah, so we're going to hear from Aidan O'Brien after we go through the Oaks, but let's now, as a panel, have a look at the feature race, the Irish Oaks, on Saturday. So, there's only one place to start here, and I'll start with you, Mark. The big thing about Savethelastdance in going to Epsom was, how will this good to firm ground suit filly, who was obviously so impressive on pretty proper soft ground at Chester? We will hear from Aidan O'Brien, but it is actually quite possible the track didn't suit her down to ground, and she still ran a blinder. What did you make of Epsom?
Yeah, big run in circumstances, and I'd be very much with you. I think ground is going to be important to this lady. Looking at the ground report that came this morning from the Curragh, we're at yielding to soft as of Thursday morning, dry today, tomorrow, but rain forecast through Friday night to the weekend, 20 to 25 mil approx. So that's going to give you a fair idea that we're, for starting on yielding to soft at the minute, I think safe to say there's going to be a cut in the ground. Safe to say it's going to suit Savethelastdance right down to the ground. The Chester performance, it was one of those kind of do you believe your eyes sort of efforts. At the same time, the clock backed it up. It got those guys who follow those things intently very excited. And I thought in the circumstances for a filly with her sort of profile, even forget the ground for a moment, forget the track, to go there to an Oaks with such little experience, light on, Group 1 experience, I just thought it was a hell of a run. And, the winner didn't let it down the form too badly in at France last weekend. It was an okay sort of run. Maybe, I think the winner, Feed the Flame, that beat her soul sister. I think Feed the Flame is going to be one of the best horses in Europe come the end of the season. So I don't have any real massive concerns over the form. For all that, if you go back through the Epsom result, there's not a bundle of top-notchers in behind, but I just think there's every chance this mile and a half the Curragh we'll see the very, very best to Savethelastdance. Warm Heart has an interesting profile. I'm sure we'll touch on her in a moment, but I just feel in terms of actual natural ability, Savethelastdance is by far superior to what we're dealing with, I think.
Sorry, Nicola. Am I right in saying Savethelastdance is odds against 6-5? Am I seeing this correctly?
Yeah, and that's why I have it as my net.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
OMG, to paraphrase that lady in Friends. Talk to me. What wins it?
Yeah, I mean, I totally think Savethelastdance looks cracking value at 6-5. The stars, seems to have all aligned now for Mr. O'Brien to make history this weekend and surpass Sir Michael Stout in becoming the most successful trainer in classic history. Savethelastdance, obviously we haven't seen her since she was beaten by Soul Sister Field, but she was odds-on favourite that day. But we all know things were against her. She wasn't that comfortable, and she still ran a very good race. But the ground and the track here at the Curragh, we're all expecting to see a different horse horse on Saturday. You know, she just didn't seem comfortable there across the water. So we expect Save the Last Dance to be very popular. Whether it goes off, she goes off odds on, possibly, especially after your reaction there. Maybe we've been too generous. But listen, there's two main contenders here, and Warm Heart is certainly one of them at 5-2. Progressive horse as well. And then the other Ballydoyle horse, not to be ignored, as I think Aidan might have mentioned, I read somewhere, and he said, be happy. You know, you can't ignore it. In there at 12-1, Lingfield Oaks trial runner-up. It seems the best is yet to come from her as well, although unlikely to win. She's possibly, I think, an each way chance. But there's plenty in here. You know, Lemire Rock should have more to come as well. And, you know, I can see her running into a place, probably one or two that will be too good for her. There is a bit of money for this English raider from Rafe Beckett, Blue Stocking at 6-1. Although I'm not sure she can, you know, bridge that gap with Warm Heart, who was 4 legs ahead of her.
Yeah, like thanks, because we have Blue Stocking here winning. We don't have the Ascot footage, obviously, but we have Blue Stocking winning at Salisbury. The thing with this, Mark, is I just don't get the vibe. Alasifa absolutely flopped, really. Maybe she wasn't good enough. She flopped in the Ribblesdale. I don't think the other three. I think they're much for muchness, and I get them to say the Last Dance is better than Warm Heart. What do you make of it?
Yeah, I have a similar view, and I actually think of that Ribblesdale. I know Lumiere Rock is in front of them, the beaten horses. I think she'll get a bit closer again to Warm Heart. I think she likes the Curragh. She's won with an ease in the ground as well. It was one of those weeks for Ryan Moore where everything seemed to go right. Well, pretty much everything. You know, he was in the right place the whole time. You know, his judgment calls is 50-50s. They just worked. James McDonald, who was on Lumiere Rock, I don't think he could say the same thing with how the week panned out. I just think even she's a filly. I see her myself as potentially staying even a little bit further than a mile and a half as time goes on. If we're getting soft conditions, you know, which we're probably looking at sort of territory, I think Lumiere Rock is the each way play in the race. On the whole, though, I mean, you're looking at this race and you're thinking ones that are ridden to place, you know, are ridden to try and pick up Group 1 black type, so to speak. You know, the likes of Azazat, I think she's a smart filly in her own right.
And we have Azazat footage for Mr. Wells running and winning as well at Leopardstown as well. So talk to me about her. Second to Ross Carby, I know who's the horse you liked the last time, Mark.
I think this is a smart filly. Again, very low mileage, just the 4 runs. You know, and third to Save the Last Dance at Leopardstown in April. Took a lovely step forward into win a maiden at Leopardstown in May. I think she's smart, but it's the sort of thing that if, you know, there's a few of these in here, depending on how they're ridden, especially if stamina comes to a premium. You look at the Ballydoyle layout of the race. We've seen how a strong tempo suited Save the Last Dance so much at Chester. You know, there's a few in here that don't mind going forward, that have form over a little further. Like Library has run over further last time as well. I think this will be honest now. I think this will be a proper test. And, you know, the likes of Azza, if she was ridden chilly to come with a run and try and pick up pieces, you'll have an each way chance. But it's the sort of race that if you got a furlong down, you seen what way it was shaping up and where you were starting in, you might have a fair idea. It's no good to you on Thursday as we talk about it, but I think
we're 11 furlongs earlier, Mark. We're approaching this on a Thursday, 11 furlongs earlier. You're talking about the furlong pole. We're all. I have to cut
a furlong in. Sorry, a furlong into the race.
Sorry, a furlong in. Sorry, I got you. Let's. Okay, we're all in agreement, right? We're with the favourite here. Is that fair to say?
Absolutely.
Does she go off odds on or odds against, Mark? Say that again.
I think she goes off odds on, Johnny. What do you think?
I think evens are shorter. I'm going to hedge my bets a little bit, but let's hear from Aidan O'Ryan. You're always trying to read in between the lines. It's a great man. He's been talking very, very freely to the media of late, and he's had plenty of reason to. As has Ryan Moore, two of them in really, really good form. I spoke to Aidan earlier about 3 big races on Saturday, mainly the Oaks. This must be one of the most enjoyable spells of your career with the Royal Ascot. How, you know, you've hit a couple of records, but Ryan Moore riding so well. You've some really nice 2-year-olds and I suppose stallion prospects as well that have emerged in the last few months.
Yeah, no, absolutely, Johnny. The horses are running well, so that's great, and Ryan is riding great too. So it's great for everybody, really. How
good is Ryan Moore in terms of the good jockeys you've had?
Actually, he's a great rider, Ryan. He's very consistent, and like obviously he's every year he seems to be getting better.
Do you have a good understanding between you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and I know Frankie's obviously bound out, but you'd like to think, I suppose, Ryan has a few years left.
Oh yeah, listen, Ryan I think is on the right side of 40 still, isn't he? So like we always think like a flat jockey kind of, you don't peak until the mid 40s really.
Would you say that, yeah?
I would, yeah. Like that's what we always think. Like to have the experience and the strength and wisdom and have everything. Then so and obviously Ryan has like a massive amount of experience behind him, and he's very professional and he's very committed. He's very determined. He's everything really.
I found it interesting just before Paddington ran the last day that you kind of said you sort of let the cat out the bag. We're happy to give the tactics here, and I thought the way he rode the race then was I don't know, could he have done it any better?
I know, no, we always say it as we think it is or it's going to be, Johnny, and all anybody ever wants is a fair shot for everybody really, and that's really what, and then we can make a decision where to go next, and the better the company, the better the horses in the race, and the more of a line you can get on where you are, what way to go after that really.
So your first winner of the Irish Oaks was in 2006, if I say that correctly. Do you remember who that was?
Johnny, I can't remember. Sorry.
You won 3 in a row.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Alexandrova, Peep and Fawn, and Moonstone, and these are series horses in those days.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, unbelievable. Fillies is right.
It's just, and it goes to show you won it obviously with Snowfall as well, but some extraordinary winners throughout the years. And this year, just on the race itself, Aidan, it looks a really good renewal of the Oaks, you'd have to say.
Yeah, I think there are good fillies in it, which is great for the Irish Oaks and great for Irish racing. And it's great to have an English runner in it. So it's from Ralph, so it's great. Really.
What's your assessment of we've had a good bit of rain for July. What's your assessment of the ground, how you'd like it, I suppose?
I think it's probably going to be softer, maybe a bit better on Saturday. It could go soft and probably look like it could go soft on Sunday. I think that's what Brendan thinks it could be.
So we Save the Last Dance, obviously winner trial at Chester on soft ground. It was in totally different ground at Epsom, but she again seemed to run her race. What have you made of her progress so far?
No, very happy with her. She's obviously mightn't have been in love with Epsom, and as we know, she does handle digging the ground very well.
So what do you say? Maybe Epsom doesn't suit everyone. Do you think she might be better at the Curragh then?
We always thought she would, Johnny. We always thought she would. She's big, open, galloping filly, and she probably did find downhill on quickish ground. Little bit strange for her, but she doesn't surrender. She keeps going, and she's very genuine filly, really. How
is she since Epsom then?
Good. Everything has went well, and this was always the plan since Epsom. And everything has went well, and Jackamar, who rides her out, is very happy with her. Jamie's in charge of her, very happy. Seamus has been riding her work since Wayne was on the sidelines, and so no, very happy really. Trevor leads her up, and Hazel, everyone seems very happy with her, Johnny.
You must be, sorry, you just mentioned Wayne there. You must be delighted he came back out of his recuperation. He's back home as well, and looking forward to the future, I suppose.
Yeah, exactly. Please God, and everything goes well for him, and just give it time now, and looking forward to having him back.
So Warm Heart, obviously the Ribblesdale was a lot of the chat was about Alasifa, who'd been impressive. But then you had Lumia Rock, Blues Stocking, and Warm Heart all coming to the Oaks, basically in the first 3. And Warm Heart, I think she was Galileo's first winner of Royal Ascot on the week, but she just showed that he was still getting some nice, straightforward, good middle distance horses, and you must have been delighted with that.
Yes, we weren't sure about the 1.5 miles for her, but she
really,
yeah. So, but she got it well, and obviously won the Newbury before it. But no, we obviously we were delighted with her, really.
What do you make of her chance? I suppose she's taken on obviously a very good horse and your own favourite as well.
Yeah, no, listen, like I said, she seemed to step up going 1.5 miles, which is a big plus. And that's why we kind of left her in the Oaks, and we had her eye on a little bit on the race in Goodwood, the Nassau, but we thought maybe we'll see what will happen in the Oaks first. But we're very happy with her. Rachel rides her out, and she's very happy with her. And Jamie's in charge of her again, very happy. And Rachel rides her in her work as well. So everything has went very well since then.
Could she keep progressing that type of horse?
Well, we think she has and is. We definitely think she's going the right way.
Quality card in. We'll go through just a couple of other races then on the Saturday. The Comer Group International Curragh Cup. This looks like an Irish ledger. So many nice horses in it. Emily Dickinson, I suppose she did a big challenge at Ascot. She was going 2.5 for the first time. What did you make of it?
Yeah, no, we're happy. Maybe she handles the knees very well. We let her down since Ascot and just slowly bring her back up. So she does handle her knees in the ground and she does stay well. So yeah, listen, maybe we might have preferred a stronger pace for her at Ascot, but that was the way it was. And but she ran well.
Yeah, and you're also represented here in Wollongong, who's called by Australia, who obviously won well, also on heavy ground at Navan.
Yeah, and solid horse. We were thinking going to Ascot with him, and we decided to wait. He's in good form as well. It's a long time since he ran. He's had a bit of a break since he ran, but no, happy with him as well, and looking forward to seeing him stepping up now in class and see what he does.
If I may just get you finally then on the Anglesey, which again, really classy race this, and you've got Colts and fillies here, Pearls and Rubies. Irish 1-2 really at Ascot. Just shows you, I suppose, Aidan, the prowess of Irish racing. Gavin Cromwell beating you with Snellen.
Yeah, absolutely. It was great for Gavin. Delighted for everybody involved with his filly. So no, we're delighted with this filly. She's in good form. She always showed plenty of speed. We were debating in Ascot whether we go 6 or 7, and we decided to go 7. Whether she was just got left in front, she got a little bit lonely out there. But she's in good form since.
I guess that experience brings you on a bit as well. She'd won her maiden, and this was another kettle of fish.
Yeah, it was a quick backup from Navan. She hadn't much time, and it was probably tough on her to ask her to do it. But listen, she still ran well.
So just I suppose to sum up, any other nice horses you'll have over the weekend? It's a hell of a card on the Saturday as well for the Irish Oaks.
Yeah, we've a couple of nice 2-year-olds running in the maiden. So we've a nice Tabawi horse, and then the Anglesey we spoke about, and then the Oaks, so I suppose that's, and then we spoke about Emily. So I suppose that's the blunt of it, really, Johnny. I
didn't actually speak to you since all these horses won between Augusta Rodan, Paddington, River Tiber, now City of Troy. Yeah, part of you has to be thinking about like the future as well, when these horses might retire to the paddocks and what they might breed.
Yeah, no, so listen, there's a nice team of horses there now, like you said, and they have been running well, and listen, it's great to have them, and delighted for everybody really, but they have been running well, and and the 3-year-olds are progressing lovely, and the 2-year-olds seem to be coming on as well, so that's all good from run to run as well.
Well, the very best of luck this weekend. Really looking forward to seeing the two of them in the Oaks, and obviously the other race as well, and thanks for your time, Aidan.
My pleasure, Johnny, anytime.
Yeah, well, the undercard certainly isn't too bad on Saturday. It's Curragh as well, and we're going to move to the Sapphire Stakes now. We have a bit of VT here as well. I'll come bring you in here, Mark. Ladies Church, who's obviously been really quick Churchill, progressive Churchill as well, bolting up an ace the last day for John Murtagh. And we also have a bit of footage from one of the outsiders here, Lady Tilbury, who was just came off a pace at Tipperary to win well. But I do like the profile of the Murtagh horse here, Mark.
I do as well, Johnny. I think she's an improved operator this season. Smart performance at Naas to start the year. For all, the couple had the chance to be ring rusty, and she was back from Dubai. But just worried about ground for her is the only thing, Johnny. I think she's really good when she gets it quick. I actually think here Go Atletico is a big player for Ada McGuinness. When you look at the prices that point-to-point horses have gone for in recent years, this fella who can whiz out straight away when a listed race at Cork first him up, 165 grand. He wasn't a bad buy at that, I don't think. He looks pretty smart. And handles an ease in the ground as well. Look at the big thing is Art Power. He's been to the Curragh 3 times, absolutely hacked up 3 times. I don't know if this is an ideal prep though. I've been a big fan of the horse, but coming from winning here really easily, then going to Ascot down the field, 4th in a July Cup. It's plenty of racing now. Look at sprinters from Britain. They're well tailored to having to take this sort of schedule to take sprinting, and you have to obviously respect it. But I just think the ones that might have a little bit of upside, Go Atletico. He looked a proper sprinter, I think, to bring into the pool here. That's a little light on talent. And for all, you mentioned Lady Tilbury, she's well out of it on ratings, but I think she'll run an awful lot better than that. She's getting the hang of sprinting, and she might be, if there was something to run well at a very, very big price each way, I wouldn't be shocked if she was threatening to rattle the frame late. Don't think she'll win, but I think she'll run well above her rating.
We saw the odds there, Nicola. Art Power, as Mark mentions, loves the Curragh and won't mind that bit of ease either. Out of evening time, it was a very good horse for Kevin Prendergast. So likely to go off favourite by your odds, I would imagine.
Yeah, absolutely. We make Art Power the clear 15-take favourite to bounce back quickly after coming fourth in the July Cup. He loves it at the Curragh. That's reflected in the price. As I said, clear favourite. And he's unbeaten in 3 starts here. So, last year's winner then, Ladies Church is in there at 130 for Johnny Murtha, back to defend her crown. Go Atletico, we make a 4-1 shot alongside last year's Prix de la Bay runner-up White Lavender. And then it's 10-1 bar the rest, but Lady Tilbury 28-1 for those of you who fancy it, which I think you do, for an each way shot.
Absolutely, and let's move on to the Curragh Cup now. Another Churchill here, and a lot of these Churchills are quite big. They really progress. According to Shane Foley, when we had him on the last day, he said Yashin is pretty much one of the biggest horses he's ever seen for a flat horse, and he did show that he was progressing and edging Point King the last day at Leopardstown. They reopposed. We'll show a bit of VT of that actual race. This is a horse that you just gotta like, Mark.
He's very likeable, Johnny. Very likeable, and still probably a little bit of upside in him as well. I liked here that it took him a few strides to fully get organised here, but by God, when he lets down, he really, really comes home. Even at this point, I just love that there, hitting top gear, coming home. He's smart. Just again, he likes decent ground. That horse. His record on good ground is definitely a positive, but whether he's going to get that is a slight question mark. And Emily Dickinson, she ran well in the Gold Cup, 100%. But to me, there's not one piece of form yet that I'd hang my hat on and say Emily Dickinson is a genuine top level horse, or top level winner in weighting, I should say. Like she is very, very useful. But I think she's ran in 5 Group 1s. I don't know if she's got any. She's have her here 4, 5, 4, 6, 4. She's a very, very solid filly, but I think she's a little below it. Maybe this is the sort of race where she will excel. I just thought Ross Carberry, she dines at the top table often enough, and Paddy Toomey, I think he ran 4 horses in Killarney this week. He won with 3 of them. Stable definitely coming right, and this filly absolutely murder in the Pretty Polly. Just nothing went right at that race for her. Given all that went on last year with the weigh-in procedure, she's just not meant to go and pick up Anton in the Pretty Polly, I don't think. But she's very, very smart. I think you can generally rely on her to run a decent race. She's nearly won a Group 1 in France last season. Placed this level at Group 1 level before. I think this is a nice 1.6 of the Curragh. I think there's a lot to like about her. And in terms of solid profiles that you'd like, I think she might just be slightly superior to Emily Dickinson, with just the ground holding me back on Yashin.
Nicola, we have betting on the Anglesey Stakes, another strong favourite here in the shape of Pearls and Rubies, and it's just interesting looking at the betting here. I was talking to Jack Davison, he did double at Navan on Saturday, and he was telling me about this 2-year-old. She's Quality, and I said, "What's her name?" No, She's Quality is actually her name, and she's one of the outsiders who could run well. And another race, Nicola, with a lovely each way makeup.
Yeah, it certainly looks really competitive. She's Quality's in there at 12-1, but it's Aidan O'Brien. It nicely done. It is it's Aidan O'Brien's Pearls and Rubies that does dominate the betting. Well, not dominate actually, as I said, it's pretty competitive, and comes here after being beaten by Snellen at Royal Ascot. But Pearls and Rubies we make 5-2. Then Buy, who looked impressive at Nace, is a close second favourite at 130. At 4-1 you've got Curragh. It's really tight, and we haven't seen any money just yet for it. We're only up with the race, but it's going to be interesting to see how the market goes. Yeah,
and Mark, the ground's a bit of an imponderable here.
It is too, Johnny. Yeah, I really like Michael O'Callaghan's filly, Curragh, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. I saw her at the Breeze Ups, and she was lovely. Like, she didn't have a massive page behind her. Crocchio Osire, I do have a lot of time for. I think when you get a good Crocchio, proper speed there, proper useful horses. But I think this could be above average, Curragh. It's just a case whether Pearls and Rubies are you dealing with a Group 1 winner and waiting. It's one of those for me. I think Pearls and Rubies is the most likely winner, but at those sort of prices, you're going to be dealing with. I'm not too sure. I'll be dying to just find out yet. She's very smart, likely to winner Pearls and Rubies, but Curragh is definitely a filly I've got an awful lot of time for.
Yeah, so we're up there with basically the best racetrack in the world, the Curragh, an unbelievably fair racetrack, and we have proper horses from start to finish on the Saturday, and we are going to get naps there. I can't believe this. Nicola McGeady and JW have gone with the same horse here. I can't get over the price of Save the Last Dance. Nicola, Save the Last Dance for me. It is the nap for both of us.
Has to be at 6-5, right? Price probably won't last, but as we've already said, you know, the course is going to suit her better than Epsom, and she ran really well at Epsom. It just didn't suit her, and there's definitely more to come. Will she go off 6-5? Unlikely.
Yeah, Mark, you like Ross Carberry, which is fair enough also.
Yeah, look at the two you could be jiving there at that sort of price. I go a little bit bigger, and actually I give a shout as well to one in the Scurry at 235. Laugh a minute. I think he'll be a good each way price, but again, a horse with rock solid Curragh form, like soft ground. I think he was beaten half a length at an Irish Champions weekend here, and he ran a belter. I could see him doing the same here for Ado. Not trying to turn this into an Aidan McGuinness fan club tipping session here, but I think he could have a good day between Go Atletico and Laugh a minute.
What one was half a minute? 14-1 there. It's up on the site now. Yeah.
Beautiful. I was up at Ado's this morning, and whether you're dancing or laughing a minute, his horses are in good form, all ahead of Galway. So we've had a good chat about Saturday's card. It gets, it doesn't get better on the Sunday. I won't say it gets better, but it just keeps going on. So let's have a look at some of the main races on the Sunday at the Curragh. Starting with the Romanised Minstrel Stakes after the Sire Romanised. So just a proviso here for both of you. Obviously, we're chatting ahead of declarations. Jumbly, one of those entered, obviously, who was so well fancied, a Royal Ascot, maybe a little bit disappointing. One thing I will say about Jumbly, Mark, if she does turn up, dropping back to 7 to me looks a good move.
I think so too. And, you know, soft ground isn't what we see her on too often, but she has won with an ease before. And it's the way I lean at this early stage without having the final field. It is tricky, but I just thought Just Beautiful got driving Billy Lee. I thought it was really, really efficient, really effective, and I wouldn't be surprised if the tables are turned here. Look, maybe there was 2.5 lengths with 2.25 lengths that she has to turn it around with Just Beautiful, but I think we haven't seen the best of Jumbly just yet since she's come to these shores. And Little Ease in the ground over 7. I think that's a decent fit. Tarawa is an interesting one because she's got a couple of different entries this Sunday. You know, depending on where she goes, I'd nearly rather her try the fillies race, the mile and 1. The name escapes me now because it's changed from last year. It was the Kilboy Estate Stakes. I think I'd nearly just rather her tackle the fillies race. But she's smart in her own right, and there might be a little chance that she could come forward from her last run as well, beaten here on Derby weekend. Yeah,
I was there that day, and her weakness of the betting didn't really make a lot of sense, in fairness. And we have a little bit of footage here of Cosmic Vega, and put two together working, and maybe it's better than one. Mick Halford and Tracy Collins are absolutely flying it. And Cosmic Vega, this performance at Naas, and I know it was tight, but between Cosmic Vega and Charlotte, but Cosmic Vega was. Mark talks about Killarney. Cosmic Vega was rated 84 when running at Killarney, only a few months ago, really. Only last October, on the 1st of October, Killarney. Now goes in here rated 104. Been really progressive and toughs it out here. Yeah, there is Cosmic Vega winning at Naas, rather. Really, really progressive. And as I say, has a rating to basically kind of come to war and possibly go very well in this. We'll move on now to the Michael John Kennedy Memorial Stakes. And again, we are obviously talking ahead of declarations here. So on the wire part of the show, we're slightly speculating, but this is going to be a quality Group 3 as well. Just at the declaration stage, you look, Mark, at the likes of Sounds of Heaven, obviously already rated 110, and you mentioned your old buddy Tarawa as well.
Yeah, I think Johnny Murta, it's so rare that he leaves the Curragh without a winner on these big weekends. Is particularly in the Premier handicaps, he's absolutely, he must put serious emphasis on targeting them because the results are showing that. But I think Caddo Bell is a big player here. Really nice profile, 2 from 2, went straight from a maiden on soft ground, which is going to help her when she meets the Curragh this weekend. Goes from that to this performance here, which I really liked. Here she is in the yellow on the outsides with the blue star in the cap. Sagamia is second here. She's on the inner, rock solid filly as well for William McCreary, runner up in Group 3 company since. Look, there is another little step up required from this sort of performance to win a Group 3 of this nature. But at the same time, 2 runs, Johnny. She's every chance to improve. Like, she's beaten much more experienced fillies behind her there, and I just love when one goes and does that. I think there's enough positives you can pull together for her here. But you know, as you said, we'll know more after declaration stage. But as it stands, if Tarawa comes in, it makes it a little bit more complex for me because I think she might be naturally more talented. But I love the upward curve that Caddo Bell is on. I'm nearly leaning that way.
Yeah, and just to note as well, in the first race, there's a horse called Mayfair who is by Justify, kind of the sire of the moment in a way, out of Clemmy, which would make her a full sister to Unless, who is obviously second in the big race at Killarney. If she runs some of the pedigrees on show, it's just going to be a cracking day. Nicola, can we, just before you go, can we wrap up that offer you have? Bet a fiver, get a score free bet.
That's correct. Yes, not bad, is it?
It's not bad at all, and we could possibly you could have a pony then to put on Save the Last Dance. So we've given our naps. We're not going to give a nap on the Sunday just because we don't have the card at the moment. Yeah. But will you be there, Mark? I know you're on Irish field duty.
Not this weekend, Johnny. With a few bits and pieces on, and we'll try and squeeze in somewhere to watch the Ireland hurling final. Really looking forward to that. Should be a belter. My mother is from Kilkenny, and she managed to wrangle 2 tickets there over the last few days. So she's been saving the last dance herself, going around the kitchen last night when she got them. So I don't know if she'll be smiling on Sunday. I hope they have good reason, but no, it should be a cracking match. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's been an absolutely puntastic show, mainly thanks to Mark. Killarney concludes on Friday after its really good meet, and then obviously we're into the 2 days of Curragh. Remember, the only place to get all of this racing is on Racing TV, and check out Extra as well, Racing TV Extra for the undercard, so you get more dedicated coverage as well. And yeah, it's going to be a fantastic weekend. Nicola and Mark, thanks so much.
Thanks, Johnny. Talk to you later.
Yeah, that was On the Wire, and we shall be back. Is Galway along the way?
On the Wire, in association with Ladbrokes.
Watch live racing now on racingtv.com.